SGC here, and we're back for a movie review. True story. Directed by Rupert Goold, it is based on a memoir of the same name by Michael Finkel, and this movie stars Jonah Hill, James Franco, Felicity Jones, and anyone else, check down below. So what's this film about? Basically, this film is about Jonah Hill playing Michael Finkel, a New York Times journalist, who somehow gets in touch with a dude by the name of Christian Longo, played by James Franco, an Oregon man whose wife and 3 children have been discovered murdered and is arrested by police in Mexico. And then, while in jail, he claims to be the reporter, Michael Finkel. And Michael Finkel, the real guy, somehow figures out and goes and finds this imposter, Christian Longo, and then they have a dialogue and things are spoken, and Michael Finkel just tries to figure out why this Christian Longo guy took up his name. And that's basically the entire film. So what do I think? Well, first off, if you watch my interview review, I was like really wanting to see Franco in a serious sort of character, and we have him. True Story has James Franco as a serious, murdering type of guy. And I definitely realized that his stone, like, really, like, silent sort of act in his other, like, crazy films is pretty much his serious acting. And definitely he did what he needed to do, and it was fine. And that's basically it. The mystery of did he kill him or did he not kill him is throughout the film, and he delivers on that part. And you sort of pity him or just connect with him as he's like, oh, maybe he is not the killer, or he is definitely the killer. Who knows, really? Then you have Jonah Hill. I think Jonah Hill here doesn't work. I feel that he has such a backlog of comedy stuff that he doesn't really carry the film. I swear if he was more of a side character that was serious, that would have worked a lot better for his ability, but it just didn't feel right in the sense where he was carrying the film and being a serious type of guy. I get the whole Jump Street stuff. He is the more rational type of guy compared to Channing Tatum, and that works because he has a co-star. But here it's Jonah Hill versus James Franco. And Jonah Hill really can't stand on his own, really. And that's just unfortunate. I mean, even in Wolf of Wall Street, he had Leonardo to co-star with, and he was serious, so it worked out. But here it's like, Jonah Hill, but I'm lonesome, so that didn't work. Also, Felicity Jones really was underused here. I don't know why. Is it because they were basing this off the memoir, and that's all she said in the actual event? But it just lacked a lot. Like, her character of being a wife didn't really work. Like, there were scenes where they were trying to build up the whole, like, oh, Jonah Hill is getting obsessed with talking to James Franco, and Felicity Jones is sort of like, oh, you're neglecting me. Like, they try to build that, but it's not very, like, a great build-up, in a sense where it just didn't feel like they have a real husband and wife relationship. So whenever Felicity Jones showed up in the scenes, it just didn't have that umph of, like, an actual caring wife as in, like, whoa, like, what is going on? I get her love. Wasn't much of that. And all in all, that's basically the 3 cast members of this movie. And even if I was trying to look for something, it wasn't really there. I feel that the way it was filmed and paced also affected the story itself. Because the story, first off, is convoluted in a sense where you don't really know what's going on. Like, you know the premise of, yes, Jonah Hill is talking to James Franco, getting his side of the story. But then he's writing a book on his side. But there's no actual interview information that you feel like, oh, he got that information and then he's gonna put it in his book. Like, that didn't transfer really over, and then all of a sudden his book was created. It's like, what? Like, how did you write a book with the conversations you have with him? There's not much substance there. So it was just like, oh, what's going on? Also, the way it was filmed, it just didn't feel right. Like, you know my gripes about Hollywood dialogue scenes. They do it here, like, so well. It's just like, why? Why? Like, I sort of get that there's scenes where it relies on, like, the slow take of the face or something to close-ups or something, but you can have different style of shots. Like, have a side shot of both of them in the shot, and then when it gets serious, have one guy's face or something, and then, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. So the way it was shot, it just really bothered me, because this film is based on dialogue, where you film it, so to not film it to the point where you used other stuff like, oh, body language or whatever, or just expressions to convey emotion, whereas you focus strictly on the dialogue, is such a bore to watch. So yeah, I don't know what to say. This film, just, I don't know, I was curious as that it's a real event, but I don't feel like I want to support this guy. This Michael Finkel guy in real life is just, like, this is pulling out of the review, but I just felt like I'm not intrigued to know your story and support you. Here it's just like, when is this movie over? How is this movie this long? And what are you guys really talking about? So there's that. And that's basically it. So it sucks. Like Franco, Hill, and Jones, I sort of wanted more from them. The way that the director filmed the stuff too was just not great. The pacing, like showing stuff, is sort of like, doesn't make sense. In a sense where you're smart for not showing me. And it's not the sense where it's like, you're smart for not showing me and I have to figure it out, or I'm just stupid enough that I don't figure it out. It's not that. It just doesn't compute. Like, why do you even bother with those scenes? I don't really understand. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this movie, just sad that it's called True Story. You would hope that it would be a better story, because, you know, you have tons of based on it, inspired by a true story sort of style, and you have this huge movie called True Story, and you would sort of feel that it would have done its duty to uphold the whole name of True Story. But whatever, I'm done here. So if you have seen True Story, leave your comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And that is all for this movie review for True Story. Out.